It was meant to be one of those obligatory feel-good Fridays at Pinnacle Tech, the sort of corporate ritual where they dust off the conference room, inflate a few helium balloons that sag by noon, and distribute lukewarm coffee in mugs emblazoned with slogans like "Innovate or Perish." Employee Appreciation Day. The lobby hummed with forced cheer, streamers dangling like forgotten party favors, a playlist of upbeat pop hits crackling through tinny speakers, and a table groaning under the weight of generic swag. Keychains with the company logo, stress balls shaped like circuit boards, and those individually wrapped chocolates from the discount bin at the local warehouse club. I'd just wrapped a grueling 6:45 a.m. sync with the dev team in Bangalore, nursing the dregs of my third espresso as I scrolled through a backlog of Jira tickets when I spotted it. Amid the clutter of my desk, sticky notes peeling at the edges, a half-eaten protein bar from yesterday, sat a solitary black box. Not the flimsy gift bags everyone else clutched like participation trophies, stuffed with branded notebooks and fist-sized mugs. This was different. Matte black cardstock, edges crisp as a fresh printout. No ribbon, no tag, just perched there like an unsolicited proposition. I paused, cursor hovering over an unresolved bug report, half expecting it to vanish like a glitch in the Matrix. In the 5 years I'd clocked at Pinnacle, surprises were rarely pleasant. Reorg emails landing like grenades, budget cuts disguised as efficiency optimizations. But curiosity won out. I reached for it, fingers brushing the cool surface, when Derek, my manager, materialized at the edge of my cubicle. He was mid-stride, coffee in hand, but froze like he'd stepped on a live wire. His gaze locked on the box, Adam's apple bobbing in a swallow that echoed louder than the office chatter. "Don't touch that," he muttered, voice pitched low, eyes darting to the HR cluster by the printer. I arched a brow, hand retracting slowly. "What do you mean?" He didn't meet my gaze, just shifted his weight, the styrofoam cup crinkling in his grip. "Just trust me. Leave it." Then he was gone, weaving through the aisle like a man evading paparazzi, leaving me staring at the cube as if it might sprout legs and scuttle away. A prickle crawled up my spine, the kind that hits when your gut overrides your brain. The box didn't fit the vibe. No Pinnacle Tech watermark, no pastel wrapping screaming team spirit. I tilted it under the harsh fluorescence, angling for the underside label. Faint ink, laser printed in a font too precise for casual. Mia Thompson, employee ID 4782. And below, in micro text that demanded squinting, timestamp 2:17 a.m. My pulse stuttered. Last quarter, I'd flagged a ghost edit in my profile. Same witching hour, same vanishing act by dawn. Coincidence? Maybe once. But Pinnacle's HR system was a relic, cobbled from legacy code that predated cloud backups, and I'd long suspected the oopsies weren't accidents. That's when I fired up my Sentinel script, a quiet Python daemon I'd coded during a slow Q2 triggered by anomalies in the employee database. It was born from paranoia, sure, after catching a duplicated PIP template bleeding into active files, dismissed as system hiccups. But in tech, hiccups at 2 a.m. smell like intent. The script pinged softly now, cross-referencing the timestamp against access logs. No hits on my credentials. Instead, HR admin console, routed through a VPN node in the executive wing. My mouth went dry. This wasn't sloppiness, it was surgical. I didn't crack the lid. No dramatic unboxing for the gram. Instead, I snapped high-res photos, front, back, edges, metadata intact, then zipped them into an encrypted archive. One email, to legalpinalitech.com, cc, compliance.board@pinalitech.com. Subject, anomalous delivery, potential tampering indicators, attachments, scans, zip, body, discovered on desk during appreciation event. Label details enclosed. Request immediate forensic review. No emojis, No flair. Just facts, time-stamped and irrefutable. 8 minutes later, my screen still glowed with the sent confirmation. The door to my cube farm swung open. Not a knock, not a polite slack nudge. Michael Kensington, CEO, strode in solo. No entourage of VPs or hovering exec assistants clutching iPads like shields. Just him. 6'2", tailored suit rumpled at the cuffs, face etched with the pallor of a man who'd skimmed his own obituary. "Mia," he said, voice gravel over glass. "We need to talk. Now." He didn't wait for an invite, perching on the guest chair like it might combust. I minimized my IDE, swiveling to face him, the box still sentinel between us. "About?" I asked, calm as a commit log. His eyes flicked to it, then back. Where did it come from?" I didn't answer right away. Let the silence spool out, thick as server fog. Then with a click, I opened a desktop folder. Shadow Audit V2. Rows of data unfurled. CSV exports color-coded by severity. Red for unauthorized edits, yellow for spoofed IPs. "It started 3 weeks ago," I said evenly. 2:17 a.m. Entry in my benefits file. Redacted beneficiary line. Overwritten. Reverted by 5:43 a.m. Same pattern as the box. Michael leaned in, breath shallow, scanning the grid. His finger tapped the armrest once, twice. A tell from boardroom poker nights I'd overheard. "This is internal. You shouldn't have access." I met his stare. "Neither should whoever logged in from your suite subnet at 1:52 a.m. last Tuesday." Touching my 2023 performance archive. Hash mismatch confirmed. The air thickened, fluorescent hum the only underscore. He knew. And now, so did I, beyond doubt. This wasn't a gift. It was a gauntlet. And I'd just picked it up. Michael's jaw tightened, a muscle feathering under the skin like a glitch in high def. He didn't deny it. Didn't even try the classic pivot to let's align on next steps. Instead, he exhaled sharply, eyes dropping to the box as if it held the script for his exit line. "Mia, this is bigger than you think." His voice cracked just a hair, the CEO varnish peeling. I held his gaze, fingers drumming once on the keyboard, pulling up the next tab. A heat map of access patterns, red clusters blooming like bloodstains around the HR master terminal. Bigger how? Like the 12 other profiles with identical 2 a.m. edits? Or the ones tied to vesting cliffs? He shifted, chair creaking under his frame, the sound slicing the tension like a bad codec. I'd unearthed them last night, cross-referencing my script's alerts against the full employee ledger. A late-night dive fueled by takeout Thai and the dull throb of betrayal. 11 women, all mid-career anchors. Sarah Klein from engineering, poached from a competitor 5 years back. Elena Vasquez, who'd led the cloud migration that saved us $2 million in AWS overages. Each file bore the scars. Ghost timestamps, hash discrepancies, macros from the dusty Atrius archive. A system so archaic it ran on Windows Server 2008 relics. And the pattern? Vesting dates. Every termination synced to within weeks of equity drops, netting Pinnacle a cool $1.2 million in clawed-back grants. Coincidence? In Silicon Valley, that's called a business model. "You've been busy," Michael said finally. Not a compliment. More like an accusation wrapped in resignation. I leaned forward, elbows on the desk, the box nudging my mousepad. Not as busy as whoever forged my SIG on that conduct summary PDF, the one dated October 15th, 4 days shy of my RSU vest. Care to explain the IP trail from your floor? His face drained another shade, lips pressing into a line that screamed boardroom depositions. He knew the logs didn't lie. Immutable blockchain-like entries, time-stamped to the millisecond, routed through Pinnacle's own firewalls. No VPN hop could scrub that. I didn't push. Not yet. Instead, I minimized the heat map, swiveling to face him square. It started small. A badge swipe I didn't make, logged at 1:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was home, streaming The Wire reruns, not hacking my own evals. He nodded, almost imperceptibly, like he'd rehearsed this. HR. They handle sensitivities. Attrition modeling. It's not personal. Bullshit. I'd seen the memos. Internal wikis touting talent optimization with pie charts of age demographics, the over 40 slice shrinking quarter over quarter. Personal? It was a scalpel, carving out the high-salary vets to fund the fresh grad hires with their foosball table dreams. The office noise filtered in then, a muffled laugh from marketing, the copier jamming in symphony. Appreciation Day, marching on, oblivious. Michael stood abruptly, smoothing his tie like it could iron out the wrinkles in his narrative. We can fix this. Internally. His eyes pleaded. Don't escalate, don't drag in the wolves. But I'd already CC'd the board's ethics hotline, the one buried in the employee handbook under whistleblower protections. And my script? It was pinging live now, a soft chime only I heard. Another edit attempt on Elena's old file, bounced back by my tripwire. Fix it? I echoed, voice steady. Like you fixed Sarah's exit package? Or Elena's severance? Waived because of that mutual parting clause they retro-inserted? He paused at the cubicle flap, hand gripping the partition like a lifeline. They said you'd fold, quietly. Who? Brenda Dalton, our iron-fisted CCO, with her PowerPoints on proactive risk mitigation? Or Lauren Hayes, HR Veep, who ran town halls on inclusive cultures while her team scripted the exits? Michael's whisper hung. Then he was gone, blending into the fluorescent blur. I exhaled, the box mocking me from the corner. No bow, no cheer. Just a vessel for whatever poison note waited inside. I didn't open it. Scanned it instead. Metadata screaming forgery, pixel-shifted font, a tell from the same macro library. By lunch, the ripples hit. Derek slacked me. Meeting? 2 p.m. Cohen FRM 4. No agenda. I declined. Calendared a fake dentist upheat. Used the hour to query the shadow server. More hits. Lauren's credentials on a Saturday sweep. Touching files for 3 more vets. The math crystallized. 187K saved per head, multiplied by the dozen. A rounding error for Pinnacle's 500 mil valuation, but a fortune in deferred comp. I archived it all to an off-site Bitwarden vault, then pinged my contact at the SEC's whistleblower desk. Not filing yet, just insurance. The afternoon dragged, appreciation swag piling up in the break room like evidence in a sting op. I fielded side-eyes from the floor, whispers about the CEO's unscheduled drop-in. By 4 p.m., Brenda herself materialized, clipboard in hand, smile engineered in a lab. Mia, quick chat on benefits sync? Her eyes flicked to the box. I nodded, casual, but my script had her flagged. Last login, 2:03 a.m., spoofing my emergency contacts to a burner number. Sure, after you explain the macro reuse in Atrius. Her smile froze, pixels glitching. Game on. Brenda's clipboard trembled, just a fraction, but enough to register on my mental seismograph. She recovered fast, that HR-honed smile snapping back like a rubber band. Macros? Oh, you mean the legacy tools. We're phasing those out in Q1. Her voice dripped efficiency, eyes scanning my desk like she was inventorying escape routes. The box sat there, inert but accusatory, its label a silent indictment under the desk lamp's glow. I gestured to the empty chair, the one Michael had vacated minutes ago, still warm with executive unease. Sit. Let's sync on that phasing. She perched on the edge, ankles crossed, the picture of poised professionalism. But her free hand fiddled with her necklace, a gold chain with a tiny compass pendant, ironic for someone so directionally challenged in ethics. Mia's benefits audit flagged a discrepancy, she started, launching into script. Routine, but we like to loop in the team lead early. Bull. My script had her dead to rights. 2:17 a.m. Login last Wednesday. Injecting a policy non-compliance flag into my Q3 review PDF. The hash? Mismatched by 16 bytes, a sloppy cut-paste from the Atrius template library. Early how? I interjected, pulling up the file on screen. Unredacted, timestamps pristine. Like before or after the forgery? Her compass hand froze mid-twirl. Forgery? Mia, that's inflammatory. But her eyes betrayed her, flicking to the monitor where the edit trail glowed in stark Excel rows. User, B. Dalton at penallytech.com. Timestamp, 02/17/14. Action, insert behavioral note. Origin, execvpn 03. I let it hang, the hum of the AC filling the void. Outside, Appreciation Day peaked. Someone cranked Happy by Pharrell, the irony a gut punch. Brenda leaned in, voice dropping to confessional octave. Look, it's not what you think. Lauren's under pressure from the board, cost controls. Vesting cliffs are a black hole. So, there it was. Not malice, just math. Women like me, tenured, salaried at 180K plus, with RSUs that vested like clockwork, were the fat to trim for the next funding round. I nodded, feigning empathy. Black hole. Got it. How many swallowed so far? She blinked, caught. We don't track it that way. Liar. My vault held the ledger. 14 profiles, all female. Average tenure 7.2 years. Exits time to save $92K per an equity. Sarah Klein's file? Voluntary resignation 2 days pre-vest. Her overseas conference badge active in Tokyo. Elena Vasquez? Restructuring, with a retroactive tone adjustment memo signed in her name while she keynoted at AWS reInvent. Brenda's macros had greased every wheel. We do now, I said softly, minimizing the sheet. And Derek? His sign-off on mine. Pre-clearance, right? For the November 7th deadline. Her face shuddered, compass forgotten. She stood, clipboard clutched like a shield. This conversation didn't happen. But it did. Logged in my daemon, audio clipped from my webcam mic, encrypted and mirrored. She bolted, heels clicking a retreat down the aisle. I exhaled, the Pharrell track fading into copier drone. The box? Still sealed. Inside, I suspected, a fabricated appreciation note laced with the same forged SIG, primed for my personnel file. A digital Trojan horse. But I'd neutered it with scans, hashes intact. By EOD, the calendar pinged. Ops debrief, 3 p.m. tomorrow. Attendees, Michael, Lauren, Brenda, Legal Chief Patel, and Derek. No me. The architect of the unraveling, sidelined like a deprecated API. I hovered over accept, then declined, drafting instead to external counsel. Harrington and Locke. The firm our charter mandated for whistleblower escalations. Subject, evidence of systemic file tampering. Phase 1, attachments. CC. CKIA.gov/whistleblower, anonymized tip line. Body, enclosed, audit trails, macroforensics, victim profiles. Pattern indicates targeted attrition, potential ERISA-SEC violations. Request subpoena preservation. No drama, just deliverables. Send. The whoosh echoed like a server rack powering down. Ripples spread overnight, my inbox lit with auto-replies. Brenda OOU. Personal matter. Lauren's deputy fielding queries. Derek's Slack status. Away since 6:42 p.m. I powered through a midnight code review. Script humming. Another bounce. This time on Sarah's ghost file. They were scrubbing, but shadows don't fade easy. Saturday dawned crisp. Bay Area fog burning off to reveal the Golden Gate's rust-orange span. I hiked Twin Peaks, phone silenced, letting the city sprawl below like a circuit board. Patterns clarified in the quiet. Not random cuts, but a cull. Over 40 women, 78% of the hits, their exits funneled into natural attrition stats for investor decks. Motive? Pinnacle's Series D loomed, valuation hinging on lean ops. 1.4 millos in savings bought a lot of runway. By Sunday eve, Harrington replied, "Received. Preliminary review initiated. Subpoena draft attached for your sign-off." Monday's office air crackled, thicker than pre-coffee fog. Whispers skittered like faulty cursors. Melanie, Lauren's underling, MIA, her cube stripped bare. Brenda's vacation auto-reply. Indefinite. No, deputy. Legal's floor went dark, blinds drawn like a crime scene tarp. I clocked in casual, jeans, hoodie emblazoned with debug life, fielding nods from the few in the know. A finance analyst, mid-40s, caught me at the Keurig, heard about the audit flags. "You see anything?" Her eyes held ghosts. Her vest was next month. "Just code," I murmured. But code talks. The Keurig gurgled its last, spitting out a half-hearted drip into my mug as the finance analyst, Claire, her name tag read, lingered by the creamers. Her fingers twisted a stir stick into oblivion, eyes darting to the elevators like they might disgorge auditors any second. "Code talks," I repeated, softer, pouring in a splash of oat milk to buy time. "Yours too. Check your edit history from September. 2:14 a.m. slot." Her stir stick snapped. "How did you—" I shrugged, stirring slow circles. Patterns. Like that collaboration gap memo they slipped into Elena's file mid-keynote. Claire's face crumpled. Not tears, but the raw etch of recognition. They said it was a glitch. I signed the exit papers myself. No glitch, just grease for the churn. By 10 a.m., the audit brigade rolled in, 4 from Deloitte, badges clipped like sheriff stars, rolling cases thumping over the lobby tile. No fanfare, no emails prepping the all-hands. Just a terse slack from comms. Mandatory sessions today. Locations posted. The conference rooms transformed overnight. Whiteboards wiped to ghosts of agile sprints. Chairs rearranged into interrogation grids. I drew legal annex at 11:15, a windowless box smelling of stale whiteboard markers and desperation. Raj Patel, our GC, sat flanked by 2 juniors, laptops open like open books. "Mia," he started, tie askew, "appreciate you coming in." As if I had a choice. They dove straight. No warm-up on tenure or coffee preferences. "Walk us through the Atreus macros," Raj said, stylus poised over his tablet. I leaned back, the metal chair cold against my spine. Deprecated since 2019, but active in 14 term files. Retro edits, behavioral flags, SIG forgeries, all synced to RSU vests. I didn't hand over the drive, not yet. Let them fish. The juniors tapped furiously, screens reflecting the audit firm's logo. "And the box?" one asked, a woman in her 30s, sharp bob haircut framing skeptical brows. "Tamper prop. Label hash matches the macro library. Timestamp, my profile breach." Raj's stylus paused midair. "You've preserved evidence?" I nodded. Off-grid. In case of burial. The session stretched to 40 minutes, questions probing like code debuggers. IPs from exec suites? Check. Slack recoveries? Recovered from admin cache? Darren's pre-sign-off? Time-stamped 32 days pre-vest. They wrapped with NDAs fresh printed, my SIG digitized before the ink dried. "This stays contained," Raj warned, but his eyes said otherwise. "Board level contained, not pinnacle proof." I filed out to whispers in the hall. Melanie's cube now a vacuum, her motivational mug shipped to Lost and Found. Lauren Hayes? Holed up in her glass airy, blinds slashed to slits, fielding calls on speaker like a war room general. Afternoon bled into triage. The women found me in waves, subtle like commits to a private repo. First, Tara from product, cornering me at the fridge. My Q2 review, overnight addendum on tone. Vested last week, waved. Her voice cracked on waved. Then Lisa, QA lead during a fake smoke break. Emergency contact swapped to a ghost number. Almost tanked my divorce filing. Each story a thread, weaving the noose tighter. 76K saved on Tara, 112K on Lisa. All over 40, all anchors who'd stabilized sprints while juniors chased ping-pong trophies. I listened, nodded, shared slivers. Compare hashes? The offset in headers. Macro fingerprint. No pep talks. Just tools. They left straighter, phones out, pulling their own logs like waking from induced coma. By close of play, the all-hands Slack erupted. Board statement. Pinnacle Tech is conducting a comprehensive review of HR practices following credible concerns on file integrity. Full cooperation assured. Updates forthcoming. Boilerplate bomb, but the subtext screamed, subpoenas en route. Brenda's resignation hit at 4:47 p.m. Email blast curt as a 404 error. Effective immediately, Brenda Dalton steps down for personal reasons. We wish her well. Personal. Right. Her Slack ghost thread? Macro trick for Thompson? Pre-clear with Derek. Nov 7 deadline. I'd mirrored it to Harrington hours ago. TikTok. Derek pinged me at 5:02. Coffee? Neutral ground. I met him in the lobby Starbucks clone. Steam rising like unspoken alibis. Mia, I... Signed off? I cut in. Latte untouched. Gilt breadcrumb with the box? He deflated, shoulders slumping under his faded Pinnacle polo. Tried to warn you. Lauren's playbook. Board metrics. Attrition targets. Targets, not people. How many? I pressed. 15, maybe more. 15 ghosts, 1.8 mil cells reclaimed for the war chest. He stared into his Americano. They'll clean house. You're clean. Clean. As if code without bugs. I left him there, fog rolling in off the bay, streetlights flickering to life. My phone buzzed. Harrington, audit subpoena served. Your drive, gold. Not triumph, just gravity shifting. The machine groaned, gears slipping. And I was the wrench. Fog clung to the office windows like a bad hangover, blurring the view of San Francisco's skyline into a smear of steel and glass. Tuesday blurred into triage mode, Slack channels pruned of history, badge logs plastered on ImpSec's war room walls like wanted posters. The women kept filtering in, subtle drops in the ladies' room, coded nods by the vending machines stocked with stale goldfish. My vest was October 28th, whispered Jenna from Ops, her voice a threadbare wire. They flagged disengagement after I led that RFP win. I handed her a post-it with a single URL, my anonymous GitHub repo, forked for her eyes only. Pull your MER data. Keyword, Atreus. She pocketed it like contraband, vanishing into the scrum of a stand-up. By noon, the board's shadow loomed, canceled 1-1s, Michael's calendar a fortress of redacted blocks. Whispers ricocheted. External auditors inbound, subpoena prep on deck. No sources, just the electric hum of truth serum in the vents. I fielded a ping from Raj. Follow-up? I typed back. Logs appended. Phase 2. Cross-profile correlations. Attached. A pivot table mapping exits to equity cliffs, 1.6 millis in savings highlighted in damning scarlet. He read receipted but ghosted. Classic legal limbo. The real jolt hit at 2:47 p.m., an unmarked email from a burner alias. No subject. Sender. Harrington Lock Anon. Body. Thread enclosed. No frills. Just a forwarded Slack chain. Admin only. Timestamped October 3rd. Brenda. Macro viable for Thompson? Derek pre-cleared. Flag behavioral before Nov 7 vest. Lauren. Approved. Route via exec 03. Keep clean. My thumbnail hovered over delete. Reflex. Then archived it to the vault. No fury. Just the cold weld of confirmation. NOV 7. My cliff. They hadn't just planned. They'd polled. I forwarded it to the repo. Anonymous commit. Ghost in the machine. Wednesday broke gray. The kind of bay drizzle that soaks through hoodies and moods. No fanfare for the handoff. I'd vetted her weeks back, during a deep dive on governance filings. Elaine Morrow, board liaison for ethics oversight. The quiet enforcer who'd greenlit our last Sarbanes-Oxley refresh. Not flashy like the VC reps with their Tesla key fobs, but lethal. Spotted a $4 million expense fraud in 23 before KPMG blinked. I slacked her off-channel. 10 minties? Unused lab, B2. She replied, 3 p.m. Sharp. The innovation lab was a tomb. Dusty pods from a failed VR pivot, whiteboards scarred with faded UML diagrams, the air thick with desiccated dreams. I arrived early, red USB in my laptop sleeve, labeled audit mirror in block caps. Elaine swept in at 2:59, trenchcoat beaded with rain, no entourage, just a leather folio under one arm. Thompson, she said. No handshake, eyes like laser levels. You have 10. Make them count. I nodded. No fluff. Booted the laptop, screencasting to the wall projector. A relic that flickered like bad karma. Patterns, I started, clicking through slides. Timelines branching like fault lines, each fork an exit. 14 cases, 86% female, 92% over 40. Edits 1 to 3 a.m. Atrius macros. Hashes tie to HR console. The projector hummed, illuminating her face in blue pallor. Targets, she asked, folio unclasped but untouched. High tenure, vested, 114 Ka average save per. Total, 1.6 miltals reclaimed. I paused the deck on the Slack screenshot. Brenda's words pixel perfect. This was for me. Nov 7 deadline. Elaine's gaze sharpened, tracing the thread like a prosecutor. Proof chain? I slid the USB across the Formica table, its weight negligible but seismic. Full. Logs, recoveries, IP-geos, even a shadow copy from the server farm, immutable. One trace, Michael's subnet, Octave 15. She palmed it, thumb testing the port like a safecracker. No flinch. Escalation? Legals looped. SEC D-tip filed. But this? I tapped the drive. Off books. Burial insurance. Silence stretched, broken only by the distant groan of an elevator. She pocketed it, folio snapping shut. You built this solo? Demon script. Tripwires on MER. Started as hobby. A ghost of a smile. Not warmth, but the glint of shared weaponry. Well built. They'll bury what they can. This? It sticks. She turned for the door, coat swirling. I called after. The thread mentions my name. Explicit. Elaine paused. Back to me. Slack's never private. Not to boards. Then gone. Footsteps echoing up the stairwell. I lingered, projector cooling to black. The lab's ghosts, my only company. Not victory. Resolution. The cull's architect now audited by its own blueprint. The lab door clicked shut behind Elaine, sealing the echo of her heels like a vault. I powered down the projector, its fan whining to silence, and pocketed my laptop. No victory lap, just the steady thrum of inevitability. Upstairs, the office had morphed into a pressure cooker. InfSec techs huddled over terminals, screens blooming with forensic trees. Comms drafting FAQs that read like evasion manuals. I clocked back in at 3:42, badge beeping green, and fielded a glare from a junior dev who'd overheard the whispers. Audit witch hunt? He muttered, scrolling TikTok on his phone. I shrugged. More like daylight. By Thursday, the cracks spiderwebbed. Lauren Hayes' office light burned past midnight, visible from the parking garage, a lone beacon in the executive tower. Whispers solidified, subpoenas served on Brenda's cloud backups, her Hamptons retreat interrupted by process servers in khakis. Melanie's ghost profile? Scrubbed, but not before my script snagged a final ping. A frantic delete on her Atrius access key. Derek? Demoted to special projects, his cube a way station of boxed files and regret. He cornered me at the elevators Friday eve, tie loosened like a noose. Mia, the board. They're carving deep. Lauren's out next. His eyes begged absolution. I stepped in, doors hissing shut on his plea. Carve clean, I said to the mirrored walls. Or the logs will. The weekend blurred, hikes in the Marin headlands, salt air scouring the city's grime from my lungs. My phone stayed dark, vault syncing to 3 offshore mirrors. No gloating posts on LinkedIn, no anonymous Glassdoor bombs. Just prep. Resume polished, network pinged. Claire emailed Saturday. Found it, the offset. My vest's safe, thanks to you. Then Jenna. Rallying the ghosts, group thread forming. No names, just hashes. The Culls survivors, stitching a safety net from shredded code. Monday's dawn broke with a jolt. Unknown caller at 7:13 a.m. Pre-caffeine fog. Mia Thompson? Tim Hargrove, interim CEO. No preamble, voice crisp as a fresh org chart. I'd clocked him in filings. Board veteran, ex-Google ethics czar, parachuted in post-Michael's leave. Reviewing the audit prelims, he continued. Traffic humming behind him. 101 commute. Your demon? Instrumentalist. Clarity in chaos. Pause, the kind that fishes for hooks. I sipped water, countercool under my palm. Chaos manufactured. $1.8 million motive. He chuckled, dry as venture terms. Fair. We've retained you in mind. Not payroll drone, but architect. Direct to me. Rebuild the rails. Rails. The very tracks they'd derailed for profit. Report to the fixer. Whitewash the wreck. My reflection in the window stared back. Hoodie rumpled. Eyes steady. Appreciate the nod, Tim. But I'm booked. Booked. Across the street, in a Soma loft with fog view windows and a neon sign flickering to life. Forge Integrity Solutions. I'd inked the lease Thursday, server rack humming in the corner. First client a whisper from Elena's network. A beat of static. Reconsider? Pinnacle's future. Is yours to chart? I cut in. Gentle but final. Mine's time-stamped elsewhere. Click. No bridges scorched, just pivoted. By noon, the offer formalized. 6-figure retainer from a fintech startup, their HR, a petri dish of similar sins. I framed the contract on my wall, next to a dry erase board of anonymized patterns, red lines linking ghosts to ledgers. Pinnacle's unraveling played out in drips. Lauren's exit memo Tuesday, pursuing opportunities. Michael's consulting sabbatical, board speak for garden leave. The all-hands reboot? Cancelled, replaced by town halls on trust rebuilding. Women trickled in. Claire first, then Tara, laptops under arms. Equity audit pro bono? I offered. They nodded, chairs scraping my thrift store table. No fanfare. Just firewalls rising from ashes. The black box? I'd cracked it finally. Post Elaine. A forged appreciation certificate, Sigmine, dated to justify the cull. Shredded it, ashes in the bay. On my desk now. A twin. Gift from Claire. Note in looping script. We compared notes. Inside, a brass key. To their reclaimed vests, metaphor or not. I smiled. Faint. No revenge arc. Just recurrence. Truth. Logged eternal. The jungle roared on, but now with eyes wide.